No.
Tigers. Fight Tigers. Fight. Mike, it's not even a top 1,000 moment all time.
Okay, Tommy, shut the hell up, man.
Mike! Of course, I'm gonna go with the right answer. It's Ryan Eads of the Baltimore Orioles. He's only wore the number 80 for 8 games. He's only one of 2 players.
You know what? No, I'm not going to take this. Welcome back to another episode of Go Chat. We are back. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button. If you're not, welcome along for the journey. As you guys might have known, the number is done. It's sad. Cue the tears. But we came up with a new idea. It's called Go of the State, where we pick the current best player to play in that state. I think you guys will get the picture as we start to get into this. It could be up to you guys. It's your perception, whether they played in the state for 2, 3, 4 years, or they just got into the state and they've been playing well. It's totally up to you guys. We know Tommy will pick like a baseball player every week, so we'll have to see what he would pick here, because unfortunately he's not here. But we're gonna start with it.
Sorry.
What?
No, I was gonna say there's not a lot of options in Arizona, which is where
There's not, because the Diamondbacks are one of the worst MLB teams currently. But yeah, we're starting with Arizona. You got the Cardinals, the Suns, the Coyotes, and the Diamondbacks. Connor, it's a new segment. I'm going to start with you. You are first alphabetically. Who are you going to go with?
I'm actually going to go with someone who it is their first year playing in the state of Arizona, and I'm going to go with J.J. Watt. He was formerly moved to the Arizona Cardinals this past offseason. You know, he's had a great year. Didn't really get to talk about him all that much. I can go to the number 99 because you had Wayne Gretzky across the board there, but he's a 5-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro, Defensive Player of the Year, 3 different times, Walter Payton Man of the Year. You know, he's done so many great things off the field, and he's just been so good in the NFL for so many years. So when we look at the teams that are in Arizona right now, you've had the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, the Coyotes, and the Suns all have really decent players on their team, but I think J.J. Watt just stands above the rest in Arizona.
Did I say that the Diamondbacks were in Arizona or no? Before?
Yeah.
I did? I don't even remember that. Okay, Mike.
That was a good pick there, Connor, but I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one because I'm going to go with Chris Paul. He just came to the Suns, not this year, but last year. He led them to an NBA Finals appearance somewhere that they haven't been since the 1990s. So that's a phenomenal accomplishment on his part. Not only that, he's an 11-time All-Star, 4-time assist champ. 6-time steal champ. He gets it done on the offensive end and the defensive end, 10-time All-NBA. So little people are able to say they've made the All-NBA team double-digit times, and Chris Paul is one of those guys. Like I just said, he's a leader of men. He knows, before he got to Phoenix, he did choke a bit in a couple of different places, but he finally got over that hump. He's one of the best leaders in all of the NBA. Phenomenal assist man, gets his teammates involved. And like I said before, he gets it done on both sides of the floor. So for me, it's got to be Chris Paul.
That's another great pick. Surprisingly, our first go of the state is we're all going to have different answers. Not sure where Tommy would go with this, but I'm going to go with a guy who is on the Arizona Cardinals. No, it's not the quarterback. No, it's not J.J. Watt. It's Deandre Hopkins. Deandre Hopkins, as we all know, is a top 3 wide receiver. Potentially could be top 2. Yeah, he is top 2. Potentially could be 1. You can make that argument with Devontae Adams. But we know what DeAndre Hopkins has done. A 3-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler. He doesn't have a trophy. He doesn't have Offensive Player of the Year. But he's a tremendous receiver, and he's got great route running. And, of course, when you throw it up to him, he's going to catch that ball. And I think Kyler Murray is very lucky to have a guy like DeAndre Hopkins there, because I've seen Kyler Murray just haul the ball up so many times. It's funny because he's like 5'9" and he's just chucking the ball down the field. And DeAndre Hopkins is all the way on the opposite side of the field, and he catches that ball. Even Christian Kirk did 2 weeks ago. But yeah, it's got to be DeAndre Hopkins. I remember last year his Hail Mary. I won go of the week because of DeAndre Hopkins. So shout out to him. But yeah, DeAndre Hopkins. What a great way to start the go to the state. with three different answers.
Yeah. Honestly, DeAndre Hopkins is a great choice. Just I think at this point in his career, I don't think he's as accomplished as Chris Paul and JJ Watt just because they're heading towards the tail end of their careers, while DeAndre Hopkins is still in the middle of his prime. But I think at the end of DeAndre's career, I think he could definitely be in this conversation, especially if he stays with Kyler Murray for a while, because we know the type of connection that they have.
Yeah, I just think DeAndre Hopkins is freaking amazing.
He's phenomenal. I had the chance to watch him live when I went to a Jets Texans game a couple years back, and I mean, he's huge. What you see on TV really does no justice to how big of a guy DeAndre Hopkins is. I mean, he's so big and he's so physical. He lit the Jets up that game. I mean, he's just so good.
I feel like you can say that for like so many different NFL players, though. Like you really don't understand like how big like a 6'6", 300-pound offensive lineman is until like you see him in real life. I mean, it's just something crazy that happens.
For sure. Next week we got California. It would be next. We are skipping the ones that don't have a professional sport, hence why we didn't do Alaska or Alabama. But I mean, California is next. That's a big one. That is a big one. Big state. Any final thoughts?
Nope.
Happy to have a new segment going. I'm excited to see where this one goes.
Well, we're going to head right into our topic coming up next.
Welcome back to Go Chat. And as we enter the week 4 of the NFL regular season, we've had some great primetime games throughout the first 3 weeks. And I think we're shaping up to have the best one on Sunday night. It is Brady's return to Foxborough. Brady versus Belichick. There's going to be so many emotions there in Gillette Stadium. So many different angles, how everyone's going to be looking at this game. Obviously, Brady left New England a couple years ago after winning 6 Super Bowls there, not a couple years ago, last year, and went on to win a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. But I mean, what do you guys think? Tom Brady's returning back to Gillette Stadium, returning back to Foxborough. What do we think the fans? How do we think the fans are going to react there on Sunday night?
I mean, the fans are going to be, they love Tom Brady. You know, they're rooting hard for them, you know, when he's in Tampa. I know some Patriots fans that, you know, just totally switched to Bucs fans because Brady left. I mean, he was their golden treasure up in New England for over 20 years. So I think the fans are going to love him. But the thing is, Brady said he's not trying to reminisce. He's calling this another game, and it's gonna be tough for him. He has plenty of memories up in Foxborough. So I think that's something to look out for. But I think the fans are going to give him just a complete wave of cheers and appreciation.
What do you think, Matt? You think he gets a good reception there?
Of course. I mean, what Mike said, that might be the worst fans. I cannot stand those people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's just like, and like I've come to that realization that probably Aaron Rodgers is not going to be a Packer next year. I'm totally not going to switch a team. If I did have to watch him, I wouldn't necessarily be cheering for him, but I wouldn't necessarily be booing for him at that point. If he's in a Super Bowl, same thing. Like it depends on what team he's on and, you know, what kind of matchup that is in the Super Bowl. But I don't think necessarily I would be totally like switching teams necessarily and cheering for them. But with that reaction, I think he's going to get a ton of cheers. I really don't think there's a loser in that game. Like, I don't think the fans are going to be booing at all during that game. And maybe an interception here and there if Mac Jones throws any. But it's Brady. Gronk's going to be back in Foxborough.
I actually don't think Gronk's going to be there. I got news this morning that he's not even going to travel with the team because his injury to his ribs that he got in week 3 was a lot worse than people or the team doctors thought.
He's not even going to travel though?
That's what I heard. That's what I read.
I don't know. It would be, I would be shocked if he didn't even travel.
I would be shocked if Gronk wasn't there, but that's what I read. It wasn't a main source like Schefter or Rappaport, so I don't think it can be 100% locked in truth. But
today, Ian Rappaport said there's no way that Gronk will miss week 4 against the Patriots, and he returned to practice today as well. So it seems like I think I mean, I guess there's still a chance that he doesn't play in week 4. I think he still does probably, but he's definitely going to travel with the team.
So
But
go ahead, Matt.
I think he's definitely going to travel. It would be weird to not have Gronk travel to that, unless he's that emotional. I mean, we don't know what's going on in these guys' heads.
I don't think Gronk has any emotions.
he did. I think he definitely does. Maybe I don't know. I don't think he's a brick wall as he portrays, but
Let's switch gears from the fans here. How do we think Bill Belichick is going to react on that other sideline? You know, news came out a couple days ago that Belichick's and Brady's goodbye was over the phone because Belichick didn't want to meet with Brady in person to say goodbye before Brady left for Tampa Bay. So how do you think Bill Belichick is going to control his emotions on that other sideline, being with Brady for 20 years?
I think he's a stonewall exterior, but I want to say his interior is a little soft. I don't know. I don't necessarily think he's going to cry. I don't think he's going to I think he's going to show a little emotion with Tom after the game, but I think during the whole game, he's still going to be the same Bill Belichick where he doesn't even smile. But I would like to see the post game. And that's something I'm really going to be watching for is Tom Brady meeting his old teammates and his old coach. I don't know. It's so hard to say because we haven't really – the last time we saw this was Peyton Manning, truly. And I don't even think Tony Dungy was his coach at the end of it. It was Chuck Pagano, wasn't it?
mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
same.
We haven't seen this caliber of a head coach and QB in ever, I don't think.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Bill Belichick is going to put up a strong face. I mean, the thing is, I think he wanted Brady out. He wanted to keep Garoppolo. You know, he wanted to move on from Brady because he was getting older, and that's what happened. Eventually, I'm sure if Belichick offered him Brady a contract, he would have stayed in New England. But that just never happened. I'm sure they're going to embrace each other. You know, at the end of the game or whatever. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens because it could honestly go so many different ways. But I do think that there's a little saltiness between Belichick and Brady. And I think they're both going to try destroy each other on the field.
You know, I don't think it was necessarily Belichick who wanted Brady out of Tampa Bay. You know, I think he definitely had his mind open, but I think those decisions came from Robert Kraft. You know, I think Robert Kraft was the guy who wanted Brady out.
Kraft was like the biggest fan of Brady ever. He was the reason that Brady didn't get traded and Garoppolo.
He was the reason why Garoppolo was traded.
Yeah, because Belichick wanted to get rid of Brady, but Robert Kraft was like, "No, I'm not getting rid of my guy. He's one of
per sources."
Yeah, per sources. This is all. We don't know if this is 100% true, but this is the best information we could possibly get, and from that information, that's just what I heard and read.
Who does this game mean more to? Does it mean more to Belichick? Does he feel like he has to get a win with his former guy over there and their new guy Mac Jones with him, or does it mean more to Brady going back into Foxborough and say, "I'm going to kick my old team's butt"?
I think it's so hard to say which one it means more for, because if I had to pick a side, it would probably be Belichick, because you watched Tom Brady literally at the end of the season last year was on top of the world. I mean, he took that Tampa Bay team. He really elevated them at the end of the season, got key wins in the playoffs. I mean, against Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers. I know Drew Brees was not the guy who he once was, but still, he beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl alongside that defense, which I give a lot of credit to in that Super Bowl. But still, he was on top of the world, and I think Bill had to watch that. And I don't know. I feel like he needs to win. He doesn't need to win. I feel like he really, really wants to win. I mean, Tom Brady obviously wants to win too. It's against New England, but I would say Belichick if I had to pick.
Mm-hmm. I think it means more to Tom, but personal wise, I think it means more to Tom. I think he wants to prove once again, you know, Tom, you know, he's kind of like MJ. He takes things personally, he holds grudges and stuff like that. Obviously not to the extent that MJ had, but I think he wants to prove that once again, that he can do it without Belichick. I really think that Belichick couldn't care less. I think Belichick just thinks that this is another game. I could be downplaying Belichick's emotions right now, but I think Bill just thinks it's another game. But who does it actually mean for from a legacy perspective? It's 100% Bill Belichick. 100%. Was Brady? He went off. He won a Super Bowl. He threw over 40 touchdowns and 4,000 passing yards in his first season with a brand new team during a COVID season, right? So this game definitely means more for Belichick in terms of a legacy standpoint. But personal wise, I think Tom Brady cares about it more.
See, I don't think Tom Brady has anything to prove. And I think he knows that he has anything to prove. You just said he has something to prove. He doesn't have anything to prove.
I feel like Tom feels like that. I feel like Tom wants to go into New England. And
Tom doesn't have anything to prove.
I don't think Tom.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying in terms of Tom's emotions, how Tom feels, how he operates. I feel like he wants to go in and show once again that it was him. He was the reason why they won 6 Super Bowls in New England and not Bill Belichick. But in terms of a legacy perspective, Bill Belichick definitely has more to prove because Tom went to Tampa and already proved he could do it without Bill. So that's the point I was trying to make. Yes. I think there's 2 different sides to that.
But I'm saying emotionally, Tom knows he doesn't have anything to prove. Mm-hmm. He just won a Super Bowl. I can almost say he definitely knows he doesn't have anything to prove necessarily here. And it's just another game. Like he said, it's just another game. And I really believe that's what he believes because he just won a Super Bowl this past year.
I'm going to combat you there just a little bit, Matt. Tom Brady played 20 years in New England. He wanted to be in New England. That was his life. That's where he was. So
he wanted out, but towards 2027, the report is 2017 on he wanted out of New England. But go on.
Anyway. That was his team. He was there, he got 6 Super Bowl rings, stuff like that. He went off, he won a ring in Tampa Bay. That proved it there himself. But I think for him to return back to Foxborough, to be face-to-face across the sideline with Bill Belichick, his former coach, and his successor in Mac Jones, essentially, what they had last year for Cam Newton, that wasn't a long-term replacement for Brady. Brady versus Mac, the teacher versus the successor, the 6 Super Bowl rings versus a rookie. I think Tom Brady's going to want to go in there and be like, this is still my home ground. This is where I belong and I control this field. And we're going to come in here and we're going to kick your butt. So not necessarily to say that he has anything to prove because he already proved himself beating Kansas City in the Super Bowl last year. But I think he's going to come in here with a chip on his shoulder and say, this is still my stomping ground, and this is where I'm going to lay you guys to rest.
I don't know. It's tough to say because I don't want to talk for Tom because I've never met the guy. Yeah. We've all never met the guy. But I don't know. I understand why he would want to win. I mean, of course, you want to win every game, and going in there is a more special game than it is against the Rams or whoever. But I think if he loses, I don't think he's really going to care. I think it's just move on. And I think if he wins, it's just going to be moving on. I don't think it's going to be he's going to act like he's on top of the world because he already knows how that feels. And he knows that you got to win. Let me try to do the math quickly. 17 more games, 16 more games to win the Super Bowl, 15.
You got one a decent amount. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's tough to say because I don't want to talk for Tom, and I don't think we all don't know what's going on through his head. It's definitely going to be an emotional game, and I definitely understand what you guys are saying to that point. It's just I'm excited to see what happens.
I think your point is valid. Where after this game is over, Monday, Tuesday into Week 5, this game's not going to mean anything for Tom Brady or Bill Belichick. They're the type of guys who are just going to keep looking forward. But on Sunday night, when Belichick is standing on that white line and Tom Brady's in between the two of them, it's going to mean everything to the two of them.
Yeah,
sure. I mean, I think if the Patriots win, I think they're going to be on
cloud nine
for the whole week. That's what I think. And I think Mac Jones is going to be on cloud. Especially if he has a good game, I think he's going to be on cloud 9 the whole week. I think it means more to the Patriots than the Buccaneers.
So,
as an emotional whole.
So let me ask you then, does this game have something to prove for Mac Jones?
No, it's like it's his fourth game.
Yeah.
Too early in the season.
Fair
I
enough.
think if he wants to prove something, it's going to be later this season, like if there's like a playoff push that they have, or into next season if they get a better team or something. I think he's if this game was later in the year, maybe, but he's a young quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields. I mean, they have their touchdown interception ratio, all of them together is awful. And I think they all have something to prove, but I just don't think any of those quarterbacks are really going to prove it until later next year, 2 years, or even this season.
Yeah. I don't think Matt has anything to prove as of yet. It's still only his fourth game of his career. I think it's be more of a long-term thing. Has he shown that? Has he flashed some ability for him to control the game, for him to go out and win games, game-winning drives? Can you push the ball down the field accurately? All that kind of stuff. And that's going to be more like a season-long thing than just one game against pretty much the greatest football player of all time. So I don't think it definitely means more for the Patriots organization and Bill and Tom than it does for Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is like sick. I'm gonna meet Tom Brady Sunday night. I think that's what he's thinking right now. So
yeah, I will say for Mac, if he wins, he's probably been hearing everything about Tom Brady. If he wins, then it's going to mean something to everyone at this point. It's just, I agree with Mike that it means much more to Bill and Tom than Mac himself.
I would agree with that.
I was just going to say before you started talking, if the Patriots win this game Sunday night, I feel like it's just going to rocket boost them throughout the rest. I feel like they're going to gain so much momentum and emotional gratitude from this game, because this is such a massive game. The defending Super Bowl champs coming into your home field. You just lost a pretty bad game to the Saints last week. So if they find a way to pull this off, I feel like it's going to give them the boost and the confidence they need to propel them to be a playoff team for the rest of the season.
Potentially, but you got to remember that's still a rookie quarterback there under center. Mac Jones, he's played well. I think out of the quarterbacks that played in the first round, I think he's had the best start to his career. But he was put in the best situation, no doubt. I just think he's got to be the one that stays consistent. He can't have those bad throws that turn into turnovers like we saw last weekend against New Orleans. If he can stay consistent, barring they win on Sunday, they can start to get some stuff together and move towards January football. But until then, I think he's just got to keep taking it one game at a time, one snap at a time.
Yeah, I mean, even if the Patriots do win, I mean, there's so many different factors that they can win by. It's like Tampa Bay can have a really bad game and they can win, or he can have a really good game and they can win. And I wouldn't necessarily say that if he has a really good game, then they're going to be pushing for the playoffs and he's going to consistently play like that, because we've seen a lot of anomalies, especially early in this NFL season. I mean, the Packers 38-3 right away to New Orleans, and then New Orleans drops a game to Carolina, and then they come back and manhandle the Patriots. So it's like we've seen a lot of anomaly games and anomaly. Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of different stuff. So it would be difficult to say that Mac, if he wins this game, then he would just propel them to a push to the playoffs. Potentially, yes, but I'm not sure. I mean, even to think about what I was going to bring up is even to think about the last time the Patriots made it to a Super Bowl was against the Rams, and how different that team is now. I mean, think about how many Super Bowl returners are still on the Patriots. I mean, James White, but he's hurt in this game.
They got McCourty, they got Gilmore, J.C. Jackson might have been on the team at the time.
But it's like Tom Brady.
Yeah,
we knew like Tom Brady's boys. Like Tom Brady's boys are not there anymore.
No, it's Bill's team now.
Yeah.
Well, hey, new season of GOAT Picks is about to start. Before that, though, this game is not a part of GOAT Picks. When we get our picks for this game, I think it's the biggest game on the slate for Sunday.
I'm gonna go with. You go ahead, Mike.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go with the Bucks, but I do think it's gonna be closer than a lot of people think. I think people are saying Tom's gonna go and absolutely rout New England. But Bill's a smart guy too, and Bill knows Tom pretty well, just like Tom knows Bill pretty well. So I think it's gonna be a closer game than people think. But I still got the Bucks in this one.
I got the Bucks. I kind of think the opposite of Mike. I think Tom's just gonna destroy him. I think Tom's just gonna destroy him. It's just I obviously with the whole Bucks team, but that's what I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Matt. I think Tom Brady goes in there with that chip on his shoulder and proves that this is his house. Every time the Patriots score a touchdown there, they always play "This Is Our House" by Bon Jovi. He's heard that many, many times over his career. He's going to go in there and show those New England Patriots that even when he's wearing those opposite colors and coming out of that away tunnel, it's his house.
And I can't wait.
It's going to be a game for the ages, and it might be the most viewed game this year just because of the context and what's going on.
I mean, the Today Show on NBC and Nightly News tonight are at Foxborough. They're at Gillette Stadium doing their news shows at this stadium because of how impactful this show or this game is.
Yep.
I mean, we haven't, like I said before, we haven't seen something of this caliber. I mean, maybe Brett Favre against that was a fantastic game. Brett Favre's first game on the Vikings, his first game as against the Packers, but doesn't touch this caliber of a game.
You're going to be hard pressed to find a return like this because usually when legends leave their teams like that, they aren't what they once were. And Tom Brady is still playing really, really good football right now. He might not be one of the best, 3 or 5 quarterbacks in the league, but he's still in that top tier caliber that can lead you to a Super Bowl and win it. So this is going to be something like we've never seen before.
It's going to be really fun to watch. But until then, we did see a really fun meltdown in GOAT Picks to lead to this new season. We'll get all into that with this new segment next.
Welcome back to Go Chat. We are back with GOAT Picks. We're heading into season 5 after Tommy Muma took this season after Mike choked for the second time in Go Chat history.
Connor choked too. He had the lead in the first place. I don't want to hear it. I understand I choked and I blew the game and I blew the lead, right? But off air, every single time, the last time when I choked to Matt in season 2, and now you guys all said it, for the exception of the Saints-Patriots game, you would have picked the same games as me, okay? So I don't want to hear this thing that I was like totally
on. You were given the opportunity to pick them first, and you picked wrong. I give you.
You guys would have picked wrong too. That's my point. That's my point. I'm a choke artist. I get it. I choked. I shouldn't have said anything because I absolutely blew it. Okay.
No, actually, wait. I would have picked Notre Dame too.
You say you feel so confident in your picks.
I was so confident in my picks, but I was freaking wrong. I was freaking wrong, Connor. Guess what? It happens, man. I don't know what to tell you. I choked. I got it. Am I happy about it? Obviously not. Right?
I am. I'm very happy about it.
Okay.
All right,
good for you.
All right, let's get into these picks. First one we got Saturday game. We got college football. Of course, is our football slate for the weekend. We got number 9 Notre Dame, who won last week. Mike did not pick them. Versus number 7 Cincinnati Bearcats. This game is in Illinois, I believe, and it's at 2:30. Tommy goes first. He picked Notre Dame. Mike, are you going to pick Notre Dame?
Yes, I'm picking Notre Dame. They're at home. I think these teams are pretty even, but I'm giving Notre Dame the edge because they are playing at home. Home team, baby.
I'm going to pick the Cincinnati Bearcats. I think they are a really good team, and I think they'll beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cincinnati too. I think Notre Dame had a good second half against Wisconsin, but Jack Cohn also had the ankle injury. I'm not sure if he's going to play or not. Cincinnati is a great team, nonetheless. Next game, we got LA versus Arizona. The Rams versus oh shoot, I almost said Carolina. The Cardinals. Hey, Tommy went with the Rams last week. Mike did not pick the Rams. Mike, you gonna pick the Rams this week?
I'm gonna pick the freaking Rams. You gotta keep bringing it up, okay?
Okay, Connor.
I'm going to take the Rams as well. I think.
Connor, what about the Cardinals, man?
Connor, what about the Cardinals? You're so high on the Cardinals the whole.
I am extremely high on the Cardinals, and I think they'll win that division. But I think the Rams are just the better team going into Week 4.
When we had that conversation, who's going to be the last team standing? I'm pretty sure you said Arizona. So I do think the Rams can be the last team undefeated.
I think it's going to be the Arizona Cardinals.
I'm going to go with
I didn't. I said the Rams. I think it's going to be the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay, you said the Rams. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm so confused. You just said the Cardinals are going to win the division.
He's saying I said the last team standing. Like, remember when we had the conversation last week?
Yeah.
Maybe the last undefeated team. I thought he said the Cardinals.
Oh, I thought you.
I did say the Rams. I think it's going to be the Arizona Cardinals because the Rams were playing the Cardinals this week. I said it was going to be a matchup of undefeated teams, but the Rams would beat the Cardinals down. I think it's going to be the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay, we're gonna have to check that
for
out.
The hand gestures.
We're gonna have to check that out.
I think he did say that.
Might have. Okay. Next game, we got Denver versus Baltimore. Tommy did pick Baltimore. This is in Denver. Denver is undefeated. Baltimore. Lamar Jackson did practice today after missing 2 days of practice. Mike.
Baltimore. Even though they're coming off a very shaky game against Detroit, I think they're just the better team than Denver. And like I said at the beginning of the season, although I think Denver's, they'll be around 500 this year, I think I just think that Baltimore is going to win this week. They're the better team.
Connor.
Especially with Rashad Bateman coming off the IR.
Connor.
Yeah, I'm going to go Baltimore as well. Denver's 3-0 against 3 opponents who are a combined 0-9. I think Denver is a solid team, but when it comes down to it, I think just Baltimore is better all around.
Oh man, who to go with? This game's actually even with the line.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with Denver. Let me put my eggs in a basket that I never thought I'd put a basket in.
All that junk you talk about Denver at the beginning of the season.
I mean, listen, I don't want to be bland. It's the start of Go Picks. I don't want to pick the same as you guys.
That's fine.
Also, Mike last time he went 0-4 in the weekend slate, so maybe I should start picking against him. Next game we got is the Chargers versus the Vegas Raiders. Tommy went with the Chargers. Mike.
I'm going with the Chargers too. I don't think the Raiders are for real. They almost lost at home to the Miami Dolphins without Tua. I'm really high on the Dolphins, but Jacoby Brissett isn't it. He's not that guy, pal.
Connor.
I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think they are for real. Derek Carr is playing out of his mind right now to start the year. And I just think he's going to be able to continue it now. John Gruden and him have really started to grow this good connection. I think they're really flowing on all cylinders. Henry Ruggs is getting behind that secondary, able to catch the deep ball. I think the Raiders are going to be able to win this game.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Chargers here. Justin Herbert, it's my guy. Let's go, Justin. All right.
Let's also not forget that they're coming off a huge win at Arrowhead. Connor did call that game. I'll give him some credit. He said that the Chargers were going to go into Arrowhead and beat Kansas City. And who's home for this game? It's in SoFi, right? SoFi, yeah. I still think the Chargers got this one.
What can I say?
Easily.
I'm a genius. I just know everything.
You just know everything.
Which is why I'm going undefeated in GOAT picks this year. You can write that down right now.
I'll give you $1,000.
I will take that bet.
Right.
Literally all I have to do is just pick against Mike and I'll go undefeated. So
well, that's not necessarily how it works.
Well, you already failed twice. All right. We're gonna head into the Go of the Week coming up next. Welcome back to Go Chat. We are back with the Go of the Week. We checked the leaderboard out. I did win again last week with Tom Brady. 26 wins on the season. Not stopping here with my pick today. We'll go to me last. Connor, I'm going to start with you.
We move into another segment where Mike just can't seem to find a win.
You're not doing much better than me, Connor. I don't want to freaking hear it. You're just trying to tick me off right now.
I think Connor's one more
working. You're turning a little red. I'm going to go with Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen. Boy, did he have a week this week against a really good Washington football team defense. They haven't been really good to start the year. I think they are a very good defense, though. 358 yards, 4 touchdowns. Ran one in as well. Really good complete team win. And I was looking at some lines today for the games in this week, and right now the Buffalo Bills are favored over the Houston Texans by 17 points. Call me crazy. Josh Allen is crazy enough and good enough to cover that number. Josh Allen's the go to the week.
Oh yeah, I honestly think they might cover that number. Like,
I'm going to Los Angeles. I'm going with Justin Herbert. Why are you yawning?
Hey, you can't yawn for Justin Herbert. That's my guy. He's cracked at Fortnite.
Anyways, Justin Herbert, he went into Arrowhead. He beat Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
I called that.
Okay, congrats. So he should have been your go of the week, but obviously you made the wrong choice. Anyways, he threw for almost 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, over a 125, actually exactly a 125 passer rating. I mean, he was absolutely phenomenal, made absolutely no mistakes. He led this team to a victory in one of the toughest stadiums to play in all of the NFL. Josh Allen, he was at home against a team that's just not very good. All right.
Josh Allen had a 129.8 passer rating.
Okay, cool. He was also playing a much worse team than the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay.
Yeah, but
Justin Herbert is the go of the week, no doubt.
He threw for what? Just about 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Josh Allen had 358 and 4 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown.
Justin Herbert's win was much more impressive. Going into how many teams have gone into Arrowhead and beaten Kansas City during the regular season? Not many at all. Matt, who's your go of the week?
Didn't he rush for 2 touchdowns or no?
Josh Allen only had 1. 4 carries,
Okay.
9 yards, 1 touchdown.
Okay. Well, I think it's another great week for a lot of go of the weeks. I had to stick with one guy and one guy only, and that is Justin Tucker. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Is that all you're saying?
I mean, what else can I say? I mean, he's 66-yard record-breaking field goal.
Really need to say much.
That shouldn't have even happened. The field goal shouldn't have even happened. If we look,
why?
He still kicked it.
Why shouldn't it have happened?
That's not the point.
It was a delay of game.
No, actually, I saw this, that the broadcast was 4 seconds ahead of the actual game clock.
Sure.
What do you mean
sure? That's because you're a closet Ravens fan.
That's just not what happened. That's just the facts. Okay. That's just what happened.
What source, Mike?
They had it on ESPN. They had it everywhere. You can look it up.
I don't know.
I mean, because they snapped the ball like 2 seconds after the game clock on the broadcast, hit 0, right? So I feel like the refs would have called it then. Obviously, I wasn't in Detroit, so I don't exactly know, but that's what I heard.
I don't know.
Top story is NFL new fan proves that the refs blew the game call to rob the Lions. I haven't watched the video because we're over Zoom and I'm not gonna watch it.
That's the top story, Mike. So
that's the top story when I searched it.
You know what the top story is? Justin Herbert beating the Chiefs in Arrowhead.
No, not quite.
That's the top story. That should be the top story. That's the top story.
Because Mike
Justin Herbert did something.
Again, just like how. Never mind.
Okay, are we done here? I will say, shout out Aaron Rodgers for a fantastic game on Sunday night. Fantastic comeback win. Mike did text me when the 49ers scored and said the Packers suck, LOL, in quotes. So I was very happy when I saw that.
I'm just a total jinx. Like, if you guys haven't noticed.
You're just wrong a lot of the time.
Well, not really, but I'm just a total jinx.
Kind of. You are kind of wrong a lot of the time.
Okay, boys. All right. I think that's going to end. Go
That's
chat.
pretty brave coming from you, buddy.
God, this has been one of my favorite episodes. I've literally just been able to crap on Mike the entire time. And I feel no remorse.
I feel like every time I start to talk, one of you guys just like starts talking, and it just
Connor
takes.
can't shut his trap.
Because my trap is just right a lot of the time.
Okay.
All right. We are done with Go Chat here. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button. Yeah, smash that subscribe button. If you're not, then next week we're gonna have a great episode. We're gonna get Tommy back. We're definitely gonna have a different dynamic. Me and Tommy are gonna be laughing back again, and Connor and Mike are gonna be arguing. But until then, we'll see you guys next week.